So looking at different tools and management strategies on the Northeast Community College farm, we're looking at a lot of precision ag principles, managing every little area of the field differently. And what we can do throughout the growing season is manage that through drone imagery, satellite imagery. We're taking traditional row crop farming and kind of breaking it down into specific management areas, whether that is nutrient management area. Different areas of the fields have different weed pressures. And what we're trying to do is really be the best stewards of the land that we can on the ground that we have. And as farm manager, I've been able to take that and kind of expand on that research role here at the college and hopefully get some of those research results back to our students so that they can see why it's important to do on-farm research on their own farms as well.
The best plan of action that we know. If a farmer would plant cover crops every year, and especially cereal rye is a species that seems to work the best as far as grabbing a hold of those nitrates that are getting down in that lower end of the root zone of those crops, and it kind of works like an elevator. That cereal rye, those roots, they're just massive roots. They bring that up into the top foot of that soil again where it can be used by next year's crop.
Cereal rye by far and away is probably the number one used product, but depending on what the farmer's application is, let's maybe take compaction for instance. At that point, we're going to look at things like brassicas. We're going to look at turnips and radishes to help shatter that compaction, get a very deep root penetration, fracture the ground, and that will complement the farmer to help with air and water infiltration come that next spring. So when we use certain types of cover crops, we can look at like our grasses, which might be, in this instance, we use barley. It creates a huge amount of biomass above the soil, which then later breaks back down into an organic form that is usable by possibly another organic crop. Or when we increase organic matter, we're benefiting the soil because we up water holding capacity. So in our sandier loams and things of that stuff where we see very fast water infiltration, our nutrients want to pass through. It's a very coarse material, wants to pass through. When we build our organic matter up, we increase the soil's capacity to hold nutrients, hold organic matter. Not only that, we're increasing the microbiology within the soil, which we don't see, right? But it's all there, and it's all a component of what makes soil alive and breathing and converts those nutrients into something that is usable by a cash crop. And then we've also got, in certain situations in this project, we mixed in some legumes. Legumes are a very good nutrient scavenger. They take products that are out in the soil that maybe a cash crop isn't great at converting. They maybe can still use it, but they're just a tad bit better at it. They pull those nutrients in, they nodulate. When a legume nodulate, it creates nitrogen within that nodule. When the plant perishes, those nutrients and nitrogen are released back into the soil into a 100% usable form. So when we take all these different components of cover crops and bring them together and mesh them together, it creates a very powerful tool to up our microbiology, provide green manure out there, build organic matter. And when we put all that together, we're just going to set the soil on fire and really bring it up to where it needs to be, or help it go from a somewhat of a non-producing form into something that is going to produce something very valuable. And when we do that long term, we're giving back to the environment and leaving a lasting impact upon the soil.
We're also utilizing manure on our C2A3 field. Manure is something that is very plentiful here in northeast Nebraska. Cumming County, in Nebraska is a large producer of beef feedlot. Lots of open feedlots. There are some confinement feedlots as well. We have a lot of poop in northeast Nebraska, and we do need to start looking at that manure as not something that is a byproduct. It's actually its own product. It does great things for our soil health, and it's able to jumpstart the soil health of a field very, very quickly, because manure has organic matter in it. It has stuff that the animal wasn't able to break down, maybe hay, maybe corn. So we're adding some of those chunky parts that we need for organic matter. Manure is also going to have nutrients in it, and those nutrients a lot of times are plant available or within a few years of being plant available. So definitely have some nutrients in there, but they also have microbial activity. So what we're doing here at Northeast is we are going to be providing a lot of our soil sampling data, our manure samples, and maybe we can us as faculty take that information and have students disseminate it and figure out, hey, maybe they did this on 5 acres. Maybe I can do this on 5 acres, and that 5 acres can grow to 20 acres, and that 20 acres can grow to their whole farm.
Another thing that you can do is making sure that you have proper buffer areas. So if you have a little stream or a creek or something like that, making sure that there's an adequate several feet of vegetation that is surrounding those areas so that if water comes off your field, it catches it, slows it down, takes the silt out, takes kind of hopefully settles the nutrients too before they get into your aquatic ecosystems so they don't become a problem down the road.
Any farmer who does soil testing, the standard soil test includes cation exchange capacity and soil organic matter. And most farmers understand what those terms are too. And I don't think all farmers understand, though, as far as nutrient pollution is concerned, what those numbers really mean. And again, the higher those numbers are, the better you are as far as not losing nutrients. But that in no means means that you can just pour on the fertilizer either. You can have leaching even in a soil that has numbers that are high with the cation exchange capacity. When you have a healthy soil, you have lots of bacteria and fungi and all these different microorganisms in that soil that are breaking down crops, that are changing nutrients from what are called inorganic nutrients or unavailable nutrients to nutrients that the plant can use. You just have all these healthy activities occurring in that soil that, again, makes it more resilient.
I'd say what excites me about the Northeast Community College Ag program is really the faculty that they have here. Being able to work with them on different research projects or getting the students out to the farm, they really see the importance of getting those students hands-on experience, as well as relating that back to coursework and developing their thinking skills for whenever they go back to the family farm or go work for a cooperative or a seed salesman or become their own entrepreneur.